The summer before junior year, my dad was spending the weekend at Lake Chelan. He left Thursday morning, but my brother and I couldn't leave until Friday afternoon. So my dad thought it would be cool for my brother and I to take the train. Why not? My mom thought it sounded safe enough, and it was 2 hours to the station in Wenatchee from Seattle. My brother and I were excited, but nervous. It was the first time we'd ever traveled by ourselves. My brother and I have always been close. From what I can remember, I was always interested in this squirmy little creature that appeared in the hospital one April afternoon. Who wouldn't fall instantly in love with him? He was cute, funny, and would follow my every command, which is kind of a big deal when you're 6 and you need someone to play house with. We arrived at the train station a few minutes before the Empire Builder was about to leave the station. Our mom rushed us through the crowds and watched slightly teary-eyed as the giant metal train slowly pulled away from the station. My brother and I quickly secured window seats, and we silently watched as the familiar landscape rolled by. Downtown Seattle, Carkeek Park, and Edmonds, where our uncle lived. As the landscape started to change, we realized that this train was only briefly stopping in Wenatchee and would continue on to Idaho, Montana, and end up in Chicago. We did not want to end up in Chicago. On that trip, we did not close our eyes. We jumped a little every time a voice came over the speaker. We kept each other awake, afraid that we were going to end up in Whitefish, Montana the next morning. As the sun began to fade away and the people around us began to fall asleep, my brother and I had time to talk and laugh. We had never had so much time to ourselves, and for that couple of hours, we felt like adults. It was a strange feeling, traveling without our parents and being responsible for each other. It seemed like a metaphor for our real lives. When I was 8 and my brother was 5, our parents divorced, and like the train cutting its way through the mountains, our lives were divided between 2 houses. But just as we were sitting on that train, we were side by side, watching out for each other always, and keeping each other awake in the darkness. Still, it was scary, not knowing when or where the train was going to stop again. We waited for what seemed like forever until the ominous voice announced, "Wenatchee, next stop." We jumped from our seats and grabbed our bags and stood as close to the door as we could. The moment they opened, we rushed to the platform to find our dad. As we drove away from the station, I felt a new sense of independence, that my brother and I had accomplished something completely on our own. And from that moment on, we felt just a little bit more grown up than we had that morning.